Hi, everybody. Welcome to Azure User Group Sweden. Jonah Anderson here. Håkan is not able to join me on the live stream to welcome you on their session today, but he is actually on the backstage helping me with the production of our live stream this Saturday. So welcome, everybody. You're watching this live or recorded. We're very happy that you're joining us in our session this weekend at noontime. That's very That's a very great thing to devote time to for learning. And today we will be having a session about GitHub Copilot from one of our fellow Microsoft MVPs and MCTs joining us from Paris or France today. So that's exciting. And you might notice that I'm not on my normal background office or scene on this live stream. I'm actually transferred to the living room. So sometimes during the stream, if you see a dog behind me, then that means Lauren's saying hi to you. So that's good. So before we start, I'll skip the introduction, but I'll be bringing our guest speaker today. Before we start, let me just share to everybody about our code of conduct. We remind everybody that we are part of Azure Tech Groups, a global tech group community for Azure. And we follow a code of conduct where we expect everybody to be respectful in the community and understand each other, be curious to share your ideas and ask inclusive questions on our live chat or even on our after session, like Zoom meetings that we do privately to those that have more questions to the speaker or to us afterwards. So I know last time we had issues with the Fika QR code. So the QR code is still the same, the Bitly link, but I will be linking it to the upcoming Zoom meetings later if we ran out of time and got a question. I know Timmy has shared about it. Okay, let me just go ahead and bring our speaker today. Okay. Hi, Ashraf. I hope
Hi, Jonah. How are you?
I'm
Yeah,
doing
well
great.
pronounced.
I'm doing great. Welcome to our community, our user group, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I am in Paris, but I'm a big fan of Azure User Group in Sweden. I follow you. I follow Håkan. And guys, the job that you are doing for the community, for the MVP, for the MCT, for everyone who is following Azure and the trends, it's just awesome. Keep the great work, and I'm glad to be here with you today.
Yes, thank you for joining us. And you're gonna be discussing, us or sharing hands-on knowledge about GitHub Copilot. But before I talk more, let me just properly introduce you. So, uh, Achraf Ben
Ashraf.
Alaya, Achraf Ben Alaya wears many hats in the tech world. He is a Microsoft certified trainer, also a Microsoft MVP for Azure, like me. He is an Azure architect, DevSecOps engineer, and he also has a background as a full stack developer in .NET and Xamarin. What keeps him going is his passion for Azure, cloud, and DevOps. And if you want to learn about the latest trend, you are in the right person to follow and right place as well. He is ambitious and also a lifelong learner, sharing his knowledge around the world. Reading your biography, Achraf, reminds me of myself because I also have a development background. I work with DevSecOps and Azure, so yeah, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
we do have friends actually, or a user or followers like saying hi to everyone, and we only see the nickname, but they're very happy to be here. Um, Before we kick off, anything you want to share to the audience about your session today?
Yes, so the session will be about GitHub Copilot. We are going to talk about the agent mode. We are going to talk about the different models and some of the latest news from GitHub Universe 2025. So we are going to see the latest tools in the latest version of Visual Studio Code Insiders with a bonus or a surprise. I have used the latest model to create website for the Azure User Group in Sweden, and I'm going to share with you this in this demo today.
That's awesome, and I'm excited to learn from your session as well, because this is also the topic I've been like learning and speaking about a lot to the community and to our audience watching us live. We watch. Håkan and I are watching the live questions, so feel free to pose any questions or feedback, comments you have for the session, and our guest speaker, will answer it for you later. So the show is yours. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Joanna. So let me get started. Okay. So I think Joanna have already presented me. As she said, so I'm an Azure Tech Lead Architect. I work basically on Azure and stuff related to architecture, hub bespoke, and the infrastructure code on Azure. So this is the links from my LinkedIn, my website, where I have a couple of hundreds of views. I write about Azure, trends about AI, development, MCP servers, and stuff like that. First of all, before we dive in, I would like to give a huge thanks to the Azure Sweden User Group. This is for this amazing opportunity to present at such an inspiring global event. And so thank you so much, Joanna and Håkan. And let's get started. So as you know, GitHub Copilot is an AI coding assistant developed by GitHub and OpenAI. It helps you to write, autocomplete, and improve code faster, generate tests, documentation, and even explore APIs and learn best practice across multiple programming languages. Today, Visual Studio or GitHub Copilot, it integrates directly with Visual Studio Code, helping you to write code faster by predicting entire lines or blocks based on natural language common or partial code. It supports dozens of programming languages like Python, JavaScript, .NET, C++, Go, Java, and even more. As I said, GitHub Copilot today is integrated with Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, and even with ReSharper. There is different version of GitHub Copilot. For example, there is the free version, which is available to individual developers who don't have access to Copilot through an organization or enterprise. They can use the GitHub Copilot for free with a limited tokens. There is also a Pro version, a Pro Plus version, a business version, and enterprise version. So GitHub Copilot integrates with Visual Studio Code, as I said, JetBrains, as a AI-powered coding assistant, and can even suggest code completion, generating function, and offering contextual code insights directly within the editor. So I will not do a lot of presentation, but I will do a lot of demos later. Let me go right here. So in order to have Visual Studio, in order to have GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio Code, you just need to click on the icon of GitHub Copilot and sign up using your GitHub account or with a Google account or a different account. So let's get started, and we are going to have a couple of demos. So the first part will be about GitHub Copilot, and the second part of our demos will be about the model context protocol. So let me stop the presentation, and we are going right now to do some demos. So let me open Visual Studio Code right here. So this is Visual Studio Code, as you can see. And if we click on this button right here, as you can see, we can have the chat screen where we are going to chat with our GitHub Copilot. So in the GitHub Copilot, we have different modes and models. So let me get started. So let me zoom in right here. As you can see here, we have these two buttons. We have, as you can see, Agent and we have Auto. So if I click right here, we can see that we have different different mode, chat mode that are presented by the GitHub Copilot. So the first mode that we are going to talk about today is the agent mode. So we can see that we have the ask mode and the edit mode. So what is the agent mode? The agent mode is like having a mid or a senior developer with you that you give him instruction to, for example, develop an application, automate a script. You just ask, and this agent will do the job. It will write the files on your workspace. It will edit the files. It will enhance the code. It will automate the script. You just have to write to the agent. We also have the ask mode. So in the ask mode, for example, you can ask. Let me zoom out. Okay. It's plugging. Okay, cool. So the ask mode, it is a chat in Visual Studio Code also that can give you responses and generate code that match your coding practice and project requirement. So for example, if you, let's say you just joined the team and there is a lot of code on the repository and you just don't know where to start. So you can just go and select the ask mode. And here you can ask, for example, give me a presentation about this project. What is the architecture of this project? Is it a model context protocol? It is what is the APIs that are presented in this code? Is there a test project? So like that, GitHub Copilot will analyze the project and will explain to you the code. And there is also the edit mode. Through the edit mode, it can edit a couple of files. So this is the chat modes. And later we are going to talk about the configure modes too. And also here we have the models. So today we have different models on the market. There is, for example, here the GPT 4.1, GPT 4.0, GPT 5, the latest version. There is the Grok, and there is the paid ones. For example, here we have the Cloud Sonnet 4, 4.5, and there is the latest version that is still on preview right here on Visual Studio Code. It is the GPT-5 Codex from OpenAI. And you can even bring your own model. For example, if you have a model on Azure AI Foundry or on OpenAI, you just click right here, bring your API key, and use your own model. All right. So let's get started. And right here, we are going to build an application together. So first of all, I'm going to choose right here the agent mode. We can keep this selected, or we can, for example, select a model that we want to use. For example, I can select right here a paid model, which is the, for example, the Cloud Sonnet 4, like that. And I have a prompt that I am going to give right here in the chat. Let me just grab it. So right here, I'm going to ask GitHub Copilot to create a basic water tracking application using just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript with login page. I'm giving the username and the password. And after that login, the application needs to show a water tracking with a daily goal of 2000 milliliter. So I'm giving instruction right here about a simple HTML application. I'm just going to hit this button, send right here. And the agent will start doing its work. Let me zoom out. As you can see here, I will create a basic water tracking application for you. So the agent right now is working using the model Cloud Sonnet 4. So as you can see here, we started to have the files. So I will just click here, keep. So the index.html is right here running. Let's wait for the CSS files. So here in your prompt, it is the context that you give to GitHub Copilot. The more context you give, the more the GitHub Copilot will follow the instructions. So let me click here, keep. So we have the styles.css file created. We'll just wait. It's still working, depends on the model. And as you can see here, I have the GitHub Copilot icon right here. It's showing me that I have local chat session in progress, and I can see the premium request. And here I have this AI user statistics. So I'm a big fan of AI. So it shows that 100% I have been using AI today. All right, perfect. We have our application ready, and here we have description about our application. So let me zoom out. Let's click here on keep, and I will open right here with a live server. 5, right? And this is the application. So I didn't write any line of code. These all have been created by the agent. So let me type the username and the password. If you know the anime hunter, you will know Kilwa. So let me take this like that. This is the username, and let me tap the password and login. So as you can see right here, I have the application right here. Let me zoom in. So we have here the button to add how much water I have drink, 15, 20, 25, 30%. I'm a big fan of water application because most of the day I forget to drink water. I drink my coffee every day. So I have coffee in front of me, but the water I forget. So this is why almost all my demos about water tracking. So as you can see here, we have this nice, great progress. We have reached 500 millimeter, as you can see. And all this with a simple prompt that I have given the agent mode in order to create this application. All right, so this is not bad, but let's ask the application for some change about the UI. What about changing this UI to, if you are a big fan of Windows XP, so we are going to try to ask the GitHub Copilot to change this design to look like Windows XP. So make the style of the app look like Windows XP. So I will hit enter. So as you can see, I will transform the app that classic Windows XP. And as you can see, it started already changing the styles CSS. It's still working, in progress. Let's keep. The agent try meanwhile to edit, check the edit stuff, and try to enhance the style. So as you can see, it is editing more and more. And if you click right here in the styles.css, we can see the changes that the agent is doing. All right. And keep. So the agent is trying to follow the instruction that I give to him and make the full UI like Microsoft XP, the theme of Microsoft Windows XP, and it's in behind the scenes. It's testing the UI and seeing if it does respect the request or not. All right, it's taking much than usual. All right, keep. always happens in the live presentation. All right. More. Let me go to here, and I can already see the changes. So it is in progress. It is a work in progress. Keep. And right now it's going to update the HTML to add Windows XP title bar. So we are almost done. Keep. All right. And one more modification to the CS file. Okay, let's wait and keep. So the agent is trying to do the best for the HTML and CSS configuration, and it's trying to do its best based on the model Claude Sonnet 4, so from its learning experience. All right. So there is an auto approve mode we can activate if we don't want to click each time on the keep button. Oh, perfect. So every change have been done right now, as you can see. And here we have presentation or documentation about the changes that have been done by the agent. So let me go back to the screen right here. And here we have the Windows XP experience. So as you can see, this is pretty awesome. Let me localhost again. Yeah, this is pretty awesome. As you can see here, we have the experience of Windows XP. So here we have the buttons, and here we have even the login that is pretty much like the Windows XP, and okay, and here we have this like that. So maybe we will add one more request. So I want to add an animation when we hit our goal. So let me go back right here. Let's make this have animation when I hit my goal, and also the animation like watercolor. So the animation will look like watercolor when I hit 100% of the goal. Let me hit this like that. All right. Let's wait a couple of seconds and keep. All right, now it's going to update the JavaScript for the animation. And as you can see that each time I wanted to do a modification for this project, I had to write right here. I have to write here instruction to GitHub Copilot in order to follow my request. So what if we have like a big project, or we don't want to write this each time? So we want to have like one rule to be followed by GitHub Copilot through along this project. So what we can do actually, so let's test this and later I will finish. Let me go back to the website and see. So let me refresh like that. Let me hit like that. Oh, you can see the animation. It is like water cooling. Let me hit again. And here, like we have our 4 application already, and it is working. All right. So GitHub Copilot have done the work for us. Here we have a full water tracker application. But what if we want GitHub Copilot response to be following some instructions that I can give one time. I don't have like to write each time in the chat right here. So the solution that we have today is we can customize GitHub Copilot response using two types of files. So we have instructions and prompts. So we can give GitHub Copilot custom instruction that provide ongoing guidance for how GitHub Copilot should behave across all your interaction. Also, there is prompt files, which is in public preview right now, where we can define reusable prompts for a specific task that you can invoke when needed. So prompt files are only available in Visual Studio Code and JetBrains Edu, and I will show you a couple of examples for the prompts. So let's start by writing instruction. So we can just create here a GitHub folder and add the instructions, or we can just hit this button right here. And here we can see that we have prompt files, instructions, toolset, and later we'll see the MCP service. But right now we are going to create instructions. So here I will create just a new instruction files, and here I will write, it will generate a new instruction folder. And here, let me give it a name, Copilot, and hit enter. And as you can see here, we have .github/instruction folder have been created, and inside this folder there is a .md markdown file that have this documentation. So what we can do here, we can store custom instruction in our workspace or repository. For example, if this is on GitHub, and here, this file will have description of your coding practice, preferred technology, and project requirement by using this markdown. So this is some instruction only to apply to the workspace where the file is located. For example, if you are working on .NET project and you are following some restrictions, you can create this in this instruction file like that, and like that, GitHub Copilot will always follow this instruction and doesn't and will not just give any idea about the project. So let me right here, I just prepared an instruction file. I will just copy it from here. Let me just copy. So all right, I will copy this. All right. So this is, for example, an instruction file. So the purpose of this instruction file is to guide GitHub Copilot to generate clean, modern, accessible, and performant HTML and CSS for this project. So, for example, it will follow some semantic HTML element like having header, nav, main section. It will follow, for example, for this application that I have just asked the agent mode to create, I did not ask to have a mobile first design. So by having this instruction file like that, each time I give or ask the agent mode to create something for me, it will read this instruction.md and everything will be based on this instruction file. All right. So I will just go back right here, I will just save this like that, close all. All right. And as you can see here, we have keep code minimal, clean, and accessible. So we can open a new chat like that. And here, make the website mobile friendly. And here it is using some instructions. So as you can see here, it is using the Copilot instruction.md that we have created. And here it will update the websites. It will read the content of the website and it will try to make it following this instruction that I give or I just right here. So it can see the Korean website structure. The website has a vintage Windows XP. Here it is collecting information. And it will try later to follow this instruction in order to update the website. Let me just hit keep. As you can see, mobile friendly enhancement. All right. So this instruction file, as I said, it is a markdown file that you can put in your workspace on your GitHub folder, and it will define your coding convention or behavior. So like that, Copilot will always apply automatically in every chat computation. So you don't have, for example, each time to, for example, if you want, let's say you have some function to create, all right, you are developer, you want to create some functions, and you want to handle error handling. So you will use the try catch block. So instead of writing each time right here in the chat here, when you create a new function, add the try catch block. So you can just right here, add it in this instruction file and ask Copilot always to add error handling. So like that, you don't have to write this each time here in the chat mode. So let me go back to the website and we will see that there is maybe some changes. Let me just go back here and oops. And here we will inspect the website, and here we will see if it is more responsive or not. Let's use the iPhone 12 and see if it is working or not. We can see that there is some changes. All right, it is mobile friendly. Let's maybe use it on iPhone 14, and as you can see, it is working just fine. We can disconnect right here, and here we can click OK, and it is perfectly mobile friendly. All right, so this was the instruction file. Also, we can have prompt files. So the prompt files are markdown files that define a reusable prompt for common development tasks like generating code, performing code review, or scaffolding project component. So we can create prompts like here in a different folder, or we can just click right here, prompt files, and here we will create new prompt file, and it will be created inside the .github prompts folder. And here, for example, we'll give a name for this prompt. So this prompt will be explain code. All right, and here we are going to create our prompt. So let me just remove this. I have already created this prompt, and everything I am sharing with you today will be shared later in a repository inside GitHub. So let me just copy this. All right. All right. So this is the prompt I have prepared to explain for me this project or any project that I want to understand. So if you are working on a multiple project and you are, for example, going to work on a new or an old project, sorry, you are going to ask or Copilot to explain to you this code that is in your workspace. So you may need each time to ask Copilot a couple of questions in the chat mode. And this is like boring because each time you are going to try to ask, get a response, ask again, get a response, and lot of copy paste. So what you can do is just prepare a prompt ready right here. And as you can see, for this prompt that will explain code, I'm asking for a brief overview of what the code does, a step-by-step breakdown of the main part, explanation of any concept or terminology. And here do all this in English and Swedish. At the end, I have added this. So I'm asking GitHub Copilot to explain to me all this code in 2 languages. So what I will do, I will just click hit save. I will close all this. And here I will be in the agent mode like that. And I will just hit /explain code. So automatically GitHub Copilot will understand that there is prompt file here, and I will just hit enter. And as you can see here, I will explain the code in this workspace in both English and Swedish, following the instruction from the prompt file. So I don't need to ask and keep writing right here. One prompt will help me just to understand the full code. Now, let's get out of the box. We have seen instruction and prompts. Let's say if you want to plan, for example, new enhancement for the project, you can just create a new prompt that will think about enhancement for your project, that will think out of the box, and you just need to write your prompt right there, and it will just answer for you this. So as you can see here, we have an answer in English and we have the answer in Swedish. And this is awesome. I don't understand any word right here in Swedish, but I got the answer from GitHub Copilot. So we have seen the prompt file, we have seen the instruction file, and I'm going to talk about something else, but about the plan mode, which have been recently shared by GitHub Universe 2025. But before that, I have one more thing to show in the prompts. So we have seen the instruction, we have seen the prompts, we have the agent mode, the ask mode, the edit mode. We will talk later about the plain mode. We have seen the models, but you can create your own mode. And this is pretty awesome. So the agent here is an agent predefined by GitHub Copilot. So it will just listen to your instruction, your prompt, your request on the chat mode. What if you can create your agent mode? So how you can create a mode? You just click right here, create new custom chat mode, and here you can define your own chat mode. So if I click like that, we can, let me name this Achraf mode, for example. And here we will have a different folder that have chat modes. And if I scroll right here, we can see that we have a new agent name that is the Achraf mode. So here you will define your own agent, and you can have multiple agents on your Visual Studio Code GitHub Copilot. So the agent mode, for example, here you can, for example, create a security agent that will scan your code each time to see there is exposed passwords or there is vulnerabilities. You can create, for example, a Jira agent, or you can create a code review agent that will review your code. You just launch that chat mode and it will do it works. It's always an instructions that need to be inserted right here. So let me, for example, show you a chat mode that I have already prepared. So I have right here. Let me So on the official GitHub repository of Microsoft, there is a lot of prompt files and instructions that you can use, and there is chat modes right here. One of my favorite is the 4.1 Beast chat mode, and here we have some of instruction to tell the agent how to do the job, the workflow, how to explain, how to fetch provided URLs, how to deeply understand the problem before start coding. And here, for example, there are a lot of chat mode, and you can even create your own chat mode. So for example, here there is a debug chat mode. Here, for example, there is the planner chat mode, the plan chat mode, and there is, I think, the reviewer chat mode. Let me just review. I think I missed that. Let me just go here to the planner chat mode. So this is the planning mode. So here you are an agent, you are on planning mode. Your task is to generate an implementation plan for a new feature for refactoring existing code. So don't make any code edits, just generate plan. So let me copy this. I will just hit copy, go right here, and here I will replace this like that. All right. So this is the Achraf mode or the planner mode, and here I will just click on that mode right here. Let me close this, and here I will just add a new chat, and here think about new feature for this app. So this mode will follow the instruction that we have in the chat mode right here, and it will start reading the workspace project, and it will give you instructions or future, as you can see here. If I click on the chat mode, so here it will start following the instruction that we have right here, and it will provide for us a new future implementation, but without implementation, because here we have set in the mode, your task is to generate an implementation plan for a new feature or refactoring. Don't make any edits, just generate a plan. So this is just a plan. All right. And you can even, as you can see, this is finished right now. And this is a whole new features that we can add to our application by this agent here. So there is a lot of chat modes right here that you can use. There is, for example, agent for Azure Logic app. There is agent to work like expert and infra code using Biceps or Terraform. So for example, I've been working with Terraform like for 8-9 years. Today, GitHub Copilot is helping me because I have created an agent that would think like I have been thinking like in the last 8 years when I'm using Terraform with Azure. So I have created a full chat mode that will work as an expert in Terraform and Azure, and I have given instruction. So for example, when creating the Terraform code for creating virtual machine on Azure, it will need to create the backup and in the same region. And when it creates the storage account, it will have to be 100% privately using the private endpoint. So I have created a full chat mode, and I just ask right here, I come right here, create 2 new virtual machines with 2 storage accounts on Azure. Once I hit that, the chat mode will create the Terraform files following the instruction that I have put on the chat mode, and later it will be created and applied on Azure. So this is the chat mode. One of the recent information or announcement that have been shared in GitHub Universe is the plan mode, and I'm pretty excited about the plan mode. Let me open the folder and the GitHub, the Visual Studio Insider, just to share with you. All right, new folder, codex, open. All right, so here I am inside the Visual Studio Code Insider. So the version is still in preview. And as you can see, there is a couple of changes right here. There is this agent session and this codex button right here. So let me start by the agent session. As you can see in the classic Visual Studio code, I have the chats right here. If I want to see The old chat, I need to click on this button, and I have to scroll right here to see the old chat that I have done. If I want to create a new one right here, I need to click on this button, click again, and just to be back, I need to scroll right here. It is good, but not perfect. And this is what the amazing team of Visual Studio Code have been working on. Here we have this agent session, and here we have the history. So here we can click create a new chat. Hi, like that. And here we can edit this, and we can add a new chat right here. Test. And as you can see here, we have the different chat history right here. We just click right here, and we can go between the different chat that we have created. And this is pretty awesome. And one of the and this will actually show the difference between the chat, and because you can have different agents working on the same time, and you just need to go there and let me stop this because I'm inside a repository. This is actually good because you can have different agent, different chat mode, and you just, if you want to see each one what it's doing, you just can click right here and see the actual job that is being done. All right. So what I will show right now is the Open Codex. So the Open Codex is, let's say, is a mid to senior developer that will be working with you. It is a smart agent created by OpenAI and added by the by Visual Studio Code team in order to be used right here. So as you can see here, I have already used OpenAI Codex. Actually, you need to have GitHub Copilot Pro plus subscription, or you need to have a ChatGPT subscription in order to connect to OpenAI Codex. All right. I can see that I have already 50 minutes passed and still didn't go through the MCP service. So I will go quickly on OpenAI Codex. So this is game changer on GitHub Copilot. So as you can see here, I have started chatting already with OpenAI Codex. When I have been invited with Jonah and Hokan to this meeting, I was looking for if there is a website to Azure User Sweden about these events, the Azure User Group, the activity, if there is a blog post, the URLs that have been shared, and I didn't find actually one, or maybe I didn't look well. So I have copied a couple of information from the meetup link, and I have created this prompt, and I have asked the OpenAI Codex to create for me a project that will present, or a website that will present the group. So I know Terraform, I know Azure, I have been working with both of them for years and years right now, but I said, why only the website? Why I don't ask actually the codex to create for me the Terraform configuration and also deploy it on Azure? After that, I said, why not? Also, I will ask it to deploy, to create a pull request and create a repository and create the pipeline to auto-deploy this website on Azure Static Web Application. And this folder that you are seeing, I have written zero information or zero code. I didn't write anything. Everything was through this agent. As you can see right here, we have auto context, this button, and here we have the agent mode, which is full access, the mode that I have used to create this full project, and there is the chat mode. So I have selected like that, and this agent full access you will give full access to your agent to do whatever you ask. So I have given the agent access to my GitHub, to the Azure, and to create the Terraform files and to apply the configuration, as you can see right here. So the result, let me just go right here and grab the results. All right. So that website is this one, already hosted on Azure, as you can see. So this is on Azure. And if you can see right here, it is responsive. Here we have the about page. And these information are actually were taken from the Meetup, I think, website, because I have copied some information when I have created the prompt. And here we have the event. So here we have a modern web page that will present the events that we have. Here we can select all the events. We can select only the online, in person, as you can see right here. We can change the view. We can have different view, as you can see like that. And we can select events. So here, as you can see, I'm typing my name. And here we have hands-on with GitHub Copilot, agent automation, and MCP integration. We can even select the register button, but I didn't ask the Copilot or the codex, to work on this. Let me remove this. And here we have the contact page. More awesome than this, that all this was automatically deployed through a pipeline that I have not created, but it was created by OpenAI Codex. So this is the repository. As you can see, there was a README file that was auto-generated that described this project, how to run this CLI in order to create an application. And here, if I go to workflow, we can see that we have the pipeline responsible for deploying this website. So we have the website, we have the infra right here, and here we have the pipeline or the workflow that have deployed the application. And here we have our application ready and running. And I hope Jonah and Håkan like this website. And if they want, they can even open a pull request and update it. And it will be hosted as the official website for Azure User Group Sweden if they don't have a website. So we can go more further to talk about the agent and stuff. But in a few minutes, I will be talking about the MCP server. One more thing I want to talk about right here in this new version that is still on preview by Visual Studio Code Insider is the plan mode. So as you can see right here, let me zoom in. What you will see in the future in Visual Studio Code is this plan mode right here. So we have the agent, the ask, the edit. The plan mode is different. So the agent mode, when you ask the GitHub Copilot to do something, it will go directly without explaining to you. It will go directly and write. As you can see, when I have asked it to create or the water application, GitHub Copilot, starting writing file, editing file, doing a lot of changes inside the styles.css. All right, and we have wasted a couple of seconds, but as you can have seen, there was a couple of changes more than once on the styles.css. So the difference here is the plan mode is the agent will think, create a plan before going and applying those plans. For those, for example, who works with Terraform, they know there is the plan and apply mode. The plan mode will show you what will be added or deleted or modified. And later you can hit the apply button. This is, we can say it's the same. But here the agent will show you a plan, all right? And after that, it will go through that plan step by step in order to update the website. So if I had hit that plan like that, we are, for example, here, we are, let's see, in which folder, just to be sure. We are on the folder that contains the website of the Azure User Group Sweden. Let me add here an instruction. All right. I'm going to ask it to do something for me quickly. Let me just go to this web page. I have an instruction just to ask quickly. All right. It seems I lost my instruction right here. All right. I will click just right here, close all the tabs. All right. And I will just zoom in right here. I will keep the plan mode, and here I will put the model on auto. And I will hit here, I will add an instruction, update the theme to look like orange theme, and open pull request about it. So right here, I'll zoom out. We are, as I said, in the plan mode. As you can see here, it is planning. The agent is not anymore just hitting those changes, but it is preparing a plan, and later it will apply that plan. As you can see, it's reading the different files that we have here, and I already have a couple of instruction and chat modes that I have already right here. And I will just go right now and go to talk about the MCP, because I have spent a lot of time talking about the agent mode, the plan mode. And this is actually still in preview, but we will see it later in the future. We're supposed to see here a plan, and this plan will be followed like steps, but maybe I have done some changes in the instruction or the prompt files right here. But I will be back later to this page. I'm going to quickly right now talk about the MCP, the Model Context Protocol, and later I will be available if you have any question. So I hope this was clear, because I know we have only 1 hour, but yeah, there is a lot of demos to do. All right, the Model Context Protocol. All right, so the agent or the Copilot is smart, but it is more smart when you give it a context, or it can access a context. So what is MCP? Let's talk about MCP and how it can make the Copilot or the agents smarter. So today, LLMs have short memory and can't keep all the context we need. And here we are talking about the agent because they are using the LLMs. So MCP is like a translator that gives the model extra knowledge and tools, so it can work smarter without forgetting. So if you are someone who forgets a lot, when you have a context in front of you, you will not forget about it. So the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, is truly like the USB-C of the AI world today. So just as USB-C, when you can use it to charge your iPhone and your Android phone, the MCP can connect various devices with centralized interface. So for example, let's say you are developing an AI assistant that integrate with 10 different services such as, for example, Outlook, Gmail, the weather forecast, the stocks, quotes, and more. In the past, you had to write separate integration code for each of these 10 APIs. So like you have to create an API that will connect to the stocks, one API to the Outlook, one API to the Gmail. However, with MCP, you only need to implement the MCP client once, and it will be easy to integrate with all MCP-enabled services. So this will allow developers to work with a wide variety of systems through a single protocol called MCP. So the MCP or the Model Context Protocol is a standard way to connect AI models with tools, apps, and data source. So it will make your agent more intelligent and have access to more context. And this context can be Slack, Gmail, Outlook, a database that you have, a server that you have. And for that, we need a couple of tools. We need an MCP host, for example, like Cloud Desktop or any AI-driven IDEO like Visual Studio Code. We need a client that maintains dedicated one-to-one connection with the MCP server. We need an MCP server, which is a lightweight server exposing specific functionality. And today we have a lot of MCP servers that I will present that are provided that we can use. And we need, for example, like local data source, for example, files, if you are going to access your files, database, if you want to your agent or your MCP server to access some services. So the key benefits today of the Model Context Protocol is it will simplify development. So you just write once, integrate with multiple times without rewriting custom code for every integration. You can switch between AI models or tools. It will and it is scalable, so you can add more capability each time when you create or update your MCP server. So we said that we need MCP host and we need MCP client and MCP server. We already have talked about this. And for example, here, this is how we use it to communicate with, for example, let's say we have an application. This application we need to take the calendar of from a Gmail account, from Outlook account, connect to Slack to share information, connect to Google Maps to grab an information about location, connect to Figma and OneDrive to see a couple of files. So if you want to do all this, we need an endpoint, an API for each one of these functionality. So every tool needs its own key, as you can see. So we need an endpoint for Gmail, endpoint for Outlook, endpoint for the Google Maps, for Figma, and for Google Drive or WhatsApp too. So this is the traditional way. So the traditional way is too many endpoints, too many communication, a lot of development, and it is continuous development, and we never stop. With MCP, it's just one key that will connect your AI apps to data source. So the MCP is the key that will help you connect your application from your AI-powered application. And this is remind me of the matrix. So the KeyMaker right here have the key that will help you access your different application or data through an MCP client and MCP server. So for example, you can ask through your MCP client, if let's say you have access for 10 database and you are asked an information, get me the users who are in the area of Paris and who have been using our product the last 20 days and who their gender are women. So you are new, we don't know which database have this information, how to take this information. You can just ask your MCP client, and your MCP client will be connected to these databases and will look for the right table in the right database, and it will give you the instruction and the answer if you want to. So there is a lot of pre-built MCP servers that are built by the big companies like Microsoft, Google, Slack, GitHub, and PostgreSQL. And you can just go to the MCP service webpage, and you can use one of these MCP servers. One of my favorites is GitHub. There is Figma too, Playwright for testing. There is Microsoft Docs. So let's say you don't want to go just to Microsoft Docs to look for information. You can just chat with the MCP server on your GitHub Copilot in Visual Studio Code and ask it for information. For example, what is the right way to deploy our static web application? What is the difference between an app service and a static application? and an Azure function. And there is a lot of other productivity tool, data analytics, MCP service that you can implement. So there is even for Stripe to communicate, create customers for your application that will be about payment, PayPal, and also for Azure if you want to communicate with your Azure resources. For example, if you want to know the application that you have on Azure, the number of app services, the number of the databases that you have, the difference, the SKUs, everything related to that. And even there is an MCP server that is about Azure DevOps. So quickly, in a few minutes, we are going to see 2 or 3 MCP servers, not these ones that are presented right here, but only one that we are going to see is the GitHub MCP, and we are going to see the file server MCP that can access your files on your machine. And I'm going to show you a personalized MCP server that I have created for this demo. So the last demo, let's get started. So right here in this folder, let me go here. Oops. I'll open this using Visual Studio Code. As you can see right here, I have different folders and different files. So these files are PDF files. I have PDF files. I have PNG files. I have text files, a lot of files. So if, for example, I ask someone to put these files inside different folders, following the instructions or following the types of these extensions. So it will need to create a folder for each extension, and it will take time in order to organize these files. What if we have 1,000 files? How are we going to organize these files? So the easy way is to use the sorry, let me, I think there is a question right here. No. So the answer is to use the MCP server. So how can we add an MCP server? How can we use the MCP server? It's easy. So when you hit Control-Shift-P right here, and here we can see that we have the button MCP list servers. So here we have the different service that I have, and this is, for example, is running, the Azure MCP server is running, and here I have, for example, GitHub MCP server that is stopped, and here, for example, I have the file system also that is stopped, and this is the one that we are going to use to organize our folder. So I will hit this, we can start the server, and even we can show the configuration. In order to configure your MCP servers, you just need to go to the mcp.json right here and add your configuration to your MCP servers. In every MCP servers configuration page, there is a way or documentation how to add this. Else, you can just go right here and hit MCP, and you can just install your MCP. There is MCP inspector, and there is a lot of extensions that allow you just to install MCP servers. All right. So here I have my MCP server for the file system. This is an MCP server that is dedicated to access my file system to follow my instructions. So as you can see here, I have given access only to this folder. I will just copy the path to the folder that we are inside right now. Desktop, new folder, SG files. I will copy this URL like that. I will go back to my Visual Studio Code, and here try to fix this. All right, we are like that, and I will just hit the star button right here, and you can see it is running. We can even see the output. Let me zoom out. is starting. You can see the output. If I hit the output like that, you can see here, so the output of this MCP server. So I will be back here in the Azure mode. I will keep an auto mode right here. I will save this like that, and I'm going to ask it to do something for me. So I will have already my prompt right here. So I'm asking this MCP server to organize these files in this folder by type, so the file extension, and create folder for each type. I will hit zoom out, and I will hit here enter. But before we do that, we have this tool button. We need to make sure here in this tool that I have selected this MCP server, else it will not detect it. So as you can see here, I have a lot of MCP servers right here. I can, for example, uncheck this one because I don't need it. This one, I don't need it. This one. And here, this is the MCP server I'm going to need right now. Here we have the Microsoft Docs MCP server. This is for testing. And there are a lot of MCP servers that I don't need, and I have used it just for demonstration. And I will hit OK. I will just hit enter, and I will zoom out. Let's just wait. All right. And here, as you can see, we have the Copilot is asking for us to move the files, but actually this is, I don't see the tools is being used. It's supposed to show us that the tool is being used here. So I will just hit skip, and I will just go back to the files that I have right here. I will remove all this. I think I have selected too many tools. That's why it's not following my request. So I will create a new chat here. I will remove this. I will remove all this right here. And let me app modernization. I will remove this, the docs. And I think like that we are cool. And I will just click save, and I will copy again my instruction. All right. And hit enter. We don't have anymore the warning here, notification. So I think, all right, as you can see, this is what I was looking for. So as you can see here, our MCP server is launched and is asking now as if it can access our folder in order to do the modification that we have asked it for. So I will click allow, and I will give access. Remember that there is an auto completion mode that we can active in the chat settings. So like that, the agent will always apply without waiting for our approve. But I don't really like doing that for now. All right, allow. As you can see here, we can see the changes. I will click allow, and we can even choose right here, for example, allow in this session or allow in this workspace, or always allow. So I will just hit always allow to go faster in this demo. As you can see here, we have these folders that have been here created. So I activated the auto approve just to go faster in this demonstration. And as you can see here, these files are being moved. All right. So the server is moving these files to the folders that have been created following the extensions. So imagine like you have 1,000 files. All right, you are in an environment. When you have 1,000 files, you will spend 2 to 3 days in order to copy paste the different extension. So like that, you can just ask the agent on the MCP server to do your work, go grab a coffee, and once you have finished your coffee, you will find the job done. All right, almost finished. As you can see here, continuing file moves. And as you can see here, I have put the auto mode, so it will select the best models dedicated for this kind of action with this MCP server. It's almost done. As you can see, 2 files to go. And it's almost done. If I go right now to the file here, as you can see, if I click here, I can see the picture. Here I have the picture. Here I have only JSON file. Here I have an MD file, and here I have PDF file without doing anything manually. So, and this is the MCP server for the file system. And you can see here we have a resume about all the folders that have been created and all the files that have been moved. And this is one of my best MCP servers, but the best for me is not this one actually. Let me show you my my top MCP server. So I will be back right here, and I will open. We have. I'm almost finished. Just give me a few minutes. I will show you this one. So here was this is the website I have created for the Azure User Group Sweden. And right now I'm going to show you a different MCP server, which is the GitHub MCP server. So this is the one. I will start the server, and here we can see the output. Sorry. So here, let me go to the repo where we have that project. So this is the repository that have the code. Here we have this branch, only one branch. And here I have a couple of issues that I have created. And I will create just a new issue, but I will just not do that from the portal. I will go just right here, click and choose the agent mode. Make sure that this MCP server is running. So, and in these tools that I have, the MCP server for the GitHub selected. So let me remove, this is checked, all right. And GitHub is, as you can see, this is all the functionality or the tools that is inside this MCP server. So I'll hit OK. Right now, I will ask the MCP server, create new issue, add enhance the home page, add orange theme, and open a new pull request in a new branch. To push that future. Create a new issue, enhance. So here I'm asking to create a new issue in order to change the homepage to orange theme. I don't want to do that, just for the demo. And I asked GitHub Copilot to open a new pull request using that MCP GitHub server in order to push that future. So I will hit enter. All right. As you can see right here. So as you can see here, if you want to be sure that you are running your GitHub MCP server or any MCP server, you need to see this instruction right here. As you can see here, the MCP server is asking me to work on this repo, and as you can see, I'm the owner, so I will put allow on this session, or maybe always all, just to go faster in this demonstration. So GitHub Copilot, GitHub MCP server right now is going to create an issue. If I go back right here to, as you can see, enhance homepage with orange theme. A new issue have been created already by the GitHub Copilot and the MCP server. And here you can see that there is some tasks that a GitHub Copilot will follow in order to update the website. So I will click just here, allow. So right now the MCP server will create a new branch and it will get the file content and it will work on this update. And as you can see, the MCP server work was just to create a new issue, create a new branch. Right now, the agent will update the homepage in order to have an orange theme, and later the MCP server will push those changes to that new branch that have been created locally, and it will be pushed to the repository. So it's working. Remember, you can have your own agent mode right here. So we can have, for example, a React expert mode. So like that, you will put all the expertise that you have on React inside an instruction file, and like that, your agent will work as an expert on React. Maybe if you want, for example, a mode or an expert, for example, in security, you can create a full mode that will work and focus on security. Okay, it's still working. And here I can see that is still working. One of the cool features that have been added a few months ago, this button right here, this snooze button. So this snooze button will put your GitHub Copilot on stop, on hold. And just when you hit this button, it will stop for 5 minutes. If you click again, it will be 10, 15. It will add 5 minutes each time. And this is actually great because I have been working on some old projects where I don't need GitHub Copilot and I only need to focus on that work. And GitHub Copilot tried to influence me and add me some enhancement, but this project is pretty old and I need to follow some stuff related to our company. So whenever I have the instruction or I see GitHub Copilot trying to give me instructions or help, I just hit this button. All right. This is, as you can see, have finished it. I will click allow. All right, we have an error right here. All right. If I go back right here to this page, let me see the code right here. And here, as you can see, there is a new branch that have been created. So it is future orange theme. And there is no changes for now, but the agent and the MCP server are working on these changes right now, and an open and a pull request will be created. As you can see right now, the changes have been done and a pull request will be created. And we can even ask the Copilot to accept and merge that pull request. So let me wait. So I think already done. The pull request is being pushed. Let me go back right here. And as you can see here, we have a pull request on our GitHub. All right. So pull request. And this is the pull request. It is being building. And here we have documentation about this pull request. So updated CSS color, applied orange gradient to hero section, updated navigation, changed button, etc. And the pipeline even have been launched right here. As you can see, it is building the changes and deploying this to our application. And we will see here, if I click right here, as you can see, the website have been, this version of the website, because this is not the main, but this is a different version of the website, have been changed with the orange theme without typing any line of code. All right, the latest part that I want to show you is, let me just click here, stop this, go out from this. Today, what we can do is you can even develop your own MCP server, all right? A server that works for you. So I have problem that I always don't know where my expenses are going, and I have used a lot of application that I save my expenses, my debit, my credits, everything, and I have used a lot of application and it's not working. So I said, why not create my own MCP server, host it on Azure Function, and work with it. And this is actually possible today. With Azure Function and MCP servers on Azure, you can create your own MCP server. You can use Python, .NET, Go in order to create your MCP server, dedicated MCP server, and host it on Azure. And you have your client here. You can work with Visual Studio Code in order to use your own MCP server. So let me show you the MCP server on my list. So here, let me go, and this is it. So my MCP server is hosted on an Azure function. So let me start it. As you can see, it started here. And I have created a simple MCP server where it is described on my website, or the instruction how to create that MCP server and test it locally. So this is a simple MCP server in order to show me my expenses, my budget for every month, and save my information. This all information is hosted on a JSON file on a storage account on Azure. So my MCP server actually have an access to a storage account and in a blob inside the storage account. And this is really pretty awesome. So let me demonstrate what we can do with this MCP server. As I said, always make sure to click on this, and on the tools, make sure you selected here your MCP server, else it will not respond. And as you can see here, I have added many functionality to this MCP server. We have add expense, categorize expense, get budget, get expense, and this is the default tools that exist on the default project hosted by Microsoft on the GitHub repository. So I will hit OK, and I will just copy something. So I will ask, let me close all these pages. I will ask, I will use the agent mode. Oh, I have selected too many tools. I think I'm in the wrong copy of. I have too many. Okay, okay, like that. Cool. Let me make sure again that I have started. Oh, let me start it right here. Cool. And I will go back here, and yeah, it is MCP server mode. Okay. So I will be talking to this MCP server. I will ask it to give me my expenses for the October 2025 month. As I said, if you want to see really that your MCP server is working, you need to see this page, remote, and you can see MCP server right here. So I will click allow. And the MCP server that is hosted on Azure will communicate also with the storage account that have a blob and will get me the information. As you can see here, my expenses, $300 spent on food on this month. So let me add a new expense. We are almost done, Jonah and Håkan. This is the last part. So right now I'm playing, as you can see, I'm in my new setup, my new house. I still don't have a new PC. I'm planning to get one. They are not cheap. So here I will add a new expense. So in the category IT, so I can add category as I want. Computer, for example, the amount is $2,000. This is the budget, and the description is the PC I want to build, and the date maybe for January 2026. So I will hit enter, and the MCP server will update the file that I have on storage account. I will show you this and will add this information. So hello. If you have any advices about the computer that I can build, you can send me your advices on the chat. So, all right. So as you can see, I have already run the add expense, and here we have run also get expense, and this is a new category that have been created. If I go to my Azure account right now, let me just go right here. So this is the Azure function that I have. This Azure function have the add expense, the categorize expense, get budget status, and the get expense. And if you click like that, we can say see this function, and we can even run this function. So this was the MCP server that I have created. And you can do this by following the section that I have shared on my website. You can see right here how to host and build an MCP server and run it inside an Azure function and your Visual Studio Code. With this, I think I have finished it with the presentation and demo. I think I have even passed more, like 15 or 20 minutes more than expected. I have a lot to share, and I hope this was clear. If you have any question, I will be here responding to your question.
Hi. Yes, we do have questions. Thank you for the great presentation. I was like learning a lot from your interactive demos, and I did inform that we are extending a bit of time because it's interesting, like topic you are sharing. So I'll get started with the questions. I think I marked I think at least 8 questions or feedback that I hope to take at least while we are live, so others that are watching us recorded can take. But thank you so much for the great presentation. Before we take the questions, I did share some of the repositories, your blog live as you discussed, but is there anything else that you want to like share or add before you, like, as you finalize your talk, like how to contact
Yes.
you and stuff?
Yeah,
Your
you can reach out to me.
maybe your
In,
PowerPoint, you got some
yes,
contact. Yes.
exactly. So you can
Yes.
scan these QR links. It will take you directly to my LinkedIn
Mhm.
account and my website. You can reach out to me via Twitter, Achraf Ben Alaya, my email, my blog, or my YouTube channel. So I'm always present on these different platforms. I will also maybe forget to share the MCP, the list of the MCP servers available online. Let me just show the link. MCP servers. Let me just think. Or maybe I would share this later. I have the link somewhere
Yes.
here.
Probably you're gonna share your presentation maybe later as well, so we can share it to the community.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
that
course,
sounds
of course. I'll be glad to share with the community everything in order to help
yes.
everyone to learn. And I
Yes.
hope it was clear. I know I was a bit fast because I have a lot of demos to do, and I know just 1 hour is not enough. I hope it was
Yes.
clear.
Yeah, that's good. I really like the Azure User Groups demo you did, and also the expense tracker that I hope to try myself, and the custom way to create your mode agent, as well as the own MCP server, so I think I would like to pick your brains and also in my use cases for myself. But let's go ahead and answer questions here. We do have a question. The first one that showed up, at least, is from LinkedIn. Tako Susuyama. Could you please explain how the GitHub Copilot agent define the username and password for the application?
Well, actually, I have given a prompt to the GitHub agent in order to add a username and password, and I even have shared with it the username and the password that I want to be in the application. So the agent is smart, but is not smart enough without context, and the context is the information that you share with the agent. So the more instruction you give to the agent, the more he will be smarter and follow your orders. So if you say, for example, use a secure and smart and modern login page, so the login page, it will be modern and secure and mobile maybe friendly. But if you only say create a modern login page, it will not be secure. So the more instruction, the more context you share with the agent, the more it will follow your instruction, and you will have a modern and secure application, and you will define the username and password as you want.
That's a good answer in my perspective.
Hope
More context, yeah. And I think
exactly.
if we ask Copilot to even like put that secret and password into a key vault or secret management, I think it will give us a smart suggestion. Thank you for answer. I hope Taco
Welcome.
is satisfied with the answer. Feel free to reach out if you have further questions. And then we have one more from MC GIF. I hope I think it's a nickname. How elaborate large can the instruction file be, and can you split it up over multiple files? Let's see
Yeah,
what he means. Which means probably you caught which one, because I know you did multiple topics and demos. But yeah,
exactly. So if you can still see my screen or not?
I can share now. Yes, now.
Yeah. So as you can see here, you can have multiple instructions. So you can define a Copilot instruction. You can create a reviewing instruction.md. You can have multiple instruction files, or you can maybe divide this instruction file into multiple files. So as you can see here, I have defined an instruction file to work on all the content of this workspace. And you can even, for example, create an instruction file to work on certain part of the project only. So you can just right here share where this instruction will be working on. Maybe you in your workspace you have front end and back end. So like that you can have frontend.instruction.md and backend.instruction.md, and the front end you can select it to be applied only for the front end project or the part, and the backend will be working on the backend part. You can see it here in the website. Let me just go to the repository of I was sharing. I think I have it here somewhere. Too many tabs here, and instruction right here. As you can see here, there are too many instruction. I will share this on the chat if I can. And you can be inspired from this. I shared this on the private chat. I don't know, Joanna, if you can share it.
I
You
can
can
share
use
it.
this.
Is
Yeah.
it the awesome GitHub repo? Or
Yes, this is a
okay,
GitHub repo by
yeah,
Microsoft.
yeah. I
The
shared it
official GitHub.
earlier. Yes, I shared
Yeah,
earlier. Let
thank
me
you.
also share that as well later as a follow up to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, you can create an instruction for part of a folder or project, and you can divide that, and the agent will follow these instructions. Always, as I said, depends what you have written on this markdown file.
Okay.
I hope I had answered your question, as you can reach it out direct me.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for that. I know that Victoria, another audience or community member that signed up for the event, had the first question related to multiple files, but I think there's a follow up. Are Copilot instructions similar to cursor rules?
I have done a bit of cursor, but I don't remember the rules. I don't know, Joanna. You have been working on that. Maybe you have the answer.
No, that's not really. I don't have the answer for the cursor rules to be honest, but maybe something we can
I
park
don't know.
and get back.
100%. I will back to you, Victor, with an answer once I see the cursor rules. Recently, I have seen a bit of cursor I've worked, but I am not deep into the cursor. Oh, so the prompt or the commands.
Yeah, it looks like Victoria added this again. Like it looks like she kind of like added more input from her side as well about cursor. So
yeah. So the prompts here, here we have instruction and prompts. So instruction are rules to be followed by the agent in all your workspace or certain part on workspace. So for example, if you want all the function on your workspace to add try and catch error handling, each time you are going to ask a new function from the Copilot, it will by default add the try and catch blocks, because here we have an instruction to be followed by the agent. The prompt here, for example, here, if you want certain explanation, for example, if you want, there is someone on your team, for example, worked on too many functions, and you are here to try to understand those functions. So instead of each time selecting a function, going to the function right here, hitting here, and selecting here the file like that, main.tf, or just going here right here, hitting Control I, and asking the Copilot, explain to me this file, you can just go here, hit like that, explain, explain like that code. So, and like that, the agent will follow the instruction that you have put on your prompt, and it will give you a response based on your prompt. So if your prompt, because when you ask, for example, when you go and use ChatGPT, John, when you ask ChatGPT for an information, give me the an information about Paris. So it will talk about the Louvre, it will talk about the Eiffel Tower, it will give you information about the number of people, the events, the code, everything right here. But if you just ask what is the how is the weather right now in Paris at this hour, it will give you 12 degrees. So as I said, the prompt is a question that will be prepared right here, and it will be applied once you use this button right here to ask the agent to give you a response about.
Yeah, I think prompt engineering, like asking Copilot the right questions, simple and very specific and detailed as much as possible. Otherwise, it will like give you a lot of things.
Well said, Joanna. This is maybe the next part in the AI, or anyone who will be working on IT, even developers, architect. Maybe one of the most important part right now, it will be the prompt engineering, learning how to prompt, how to ask Copilot, Codex, Claude, any AI system, the art of asking it, because it's different. The context is different. It's not like asking who is Joanna and who is Joanna by the name and the last name. So it's different.
Yes, that's right. I know if I search my name without the last name, you get a lot other results and different
Exactly,
photos.
exactly.
Yes. Okay. We have two more questions. I know we have some questions and feedback. I'm gonna try to just grab two, and those that have more questions live for us, feel free to join our after session fika. I hope that you still have time as well, but we can take maybe 10 minutes on that Zoom call later and see if we can get more attendees to ask more questions. But let's take this one live at least. Are there cases where it's better to choose one model over another to get more relevant results? I think he's talking about the AI.
Yeah, I think yes, it's better to choose some models over some models. I don't have the complete answer. Maybe you need to Google to see the difference between the models. But here we have the free models right here, and here we have the paid. So this is faster, 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 and even faster than these models. So for coding, for example, I use it to depend on the Cloud Sonnet. So for me, I have used Cloud Sonnet, for example, and GPT-5 Mini and GPT-4o with Terraform. And I have seen a big difference between the Cloud Sonnet and the GPT-5 models. So it's smarter. The Cloud Sonnet is smarter when it comes to PowerShell, Terraform, when for coding, for example, for generating documentation, I didn't see big difference between the two models. So I can even choose the GPT-5 because it's cheaper. So I will use it instead of using the Cloud Sonnet to generate documentation. But now, and with the announcement with the GPT-5 codex, we are entering a new level. So the website I have showed about the Azure User Group Sweden, it was developed fully with this open codex model. All right. And this is, we are entering a new level of AI. So yes, it is different. The models are different. I don't know if there is a website that compare these models, but there is a big difference. So if you want the free models, your agent will take more time in order to respond. Maybe the response it will not be great, or as an expert, maybe it will be wrong, and he will need to try and retry. This is pro models. They are paid. They have better experience. They are well trained, better than these models. And here we have other models that will be coming in the next version of the Visual Studio Code, stable version, and it's a game changer in the market.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. I did share a link about AI founder at the list of models that explains a bit, but I think if you search, there's actually a lot of comparison on that. Let's take one last question at least before we end the stream and take the rest offline on a private Zoom meeting. So we have one question here from Mac Jiff again. Let's say you would want to do the same thing again. Would it be consistent in its result? Could we edit a config file with some parameters, then have a reliably set up the infrastructure for us? I think he posted this question when you were changing the theme, I think, for the Azure User Group Sweden site that you built with Codex. I think that's what he's referring to.
So I'm trying to understand the question. So here,
Yeah.
could we edit a config file with some parameters, then have it really set up the infrastructure for us? I'm not sure if I'm getting the question. You can help me right here, Joanna. Trying to understand.
Yeah, I think he's trying to understand if, like, is if it maybe if I need it needs to be rephrased. But I think he's trying to capture an idea or answer if it's possible to create probably the Codex project example to have like a repeatable like you can recreate the instances of the infrastructure maybe, but you can edit it on a config file in terms of like infra code. Right. That's very,
Yeah.
very, yes. Go ahead.
Let me try to make sure. So this this codex experience that I have used it, I have a prompt. I will share the prompt with you. If you have ChatGPT account Pro or you have Copilot Pro Plus, you can use it on Codex. And you can, one of the great things maybe I didn't talk about on Codex, that there is two ways that you can use it: locally on your computer, or even you can send it to the cloud. So the Codex will create a private environment space that will run this instruction on it, and later it will show you the result. Um, so yeah, you can parameter this in an instruction file or a prompt, an instruction file. So you want to automate a process and have it be repeatable in results. Yeah, you can put that just in an instruction file. You can put that in an instruction file, and your instruction file, you can define your stuff that you want to automate. Or if you are work on as an automation engineer, you can create a chat mode. Right here you will have a mode, an agent that will be automation engineer agent. When you define your automation, so this agent will be responsible for automating, for example, the creation of resources on Azure via Terraform or via PowerShell. So here you will define your instruction, but the parameters, if you have don't know, parameters like this queue of virtual machine of an app service, you can just define that on your variables or your TFVARs, and automatically the chat mode and the instruction will read the content of that TFVAR or variables, and it will be using that to create your infra. So you can add an instruction on your chat mode or on the instruction file. Please follow these queues defined in the variable files, for example.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you for answering. I think we're almost like 2 hours. And I like
Yes, yes.
seeing you hit the mark there. But amazing demos. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for those
You're
that like
welcome. You're welcome.
consistently like also like watch your demos live and talk, and it's very interactive. I myself also on backstage has been learning a lot, but thanks to those that that joined us all the way out to almost 2 hours session. So
Thank
we
you, everyone.
supposed, yeah. And so we will have a Zoom meeting. So those who wants to join, you can. But if you're already out of time, feel free. So, but we'll be there at least in the next few minutes after we end the live stream. Someone said thank you for the session already. Very appreciated. Appreciate also your time, everyone. Any last minute last like words to the audience?
Yes. First of all, I want to thank you. I'm a big fan. As I told you, I'm a big fan. I have seen your book. I have seen the information that you have sharing with the community, you and your team. I want to say that keep up with the great work that you are doing. You are such an inspiration, and let's keep sharing with the community. Today the world is evolving, and as you have said in the beginning, I decided to be a lifelong learning. So everyone who want to learn, we are here just to share. We are not here to hide the information. We are here to share with the community, and this is what we have been learning from Microsoft since a young age: is sharing is caring. So let's share more about EI, .NET, Azure, Azure EI Foundry. Let's keep learning together, sharing together, and like that we can grow together. And
I
I
like
hope
that.
this session was helpful.
Yes, and even if others missed us live, this session is recorded and something we can go back to. And we will send a follow up later as well. So, a lot of interaction and appreciation for you. So, kudos back to you. And thank you so much, everyone, for your time. We have 2 more sessions in the next coming weeks before we have our Christmas break. So, Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Yes, thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone. In behalf of me and Håkan, that's Håkan is in backstage. See you next
Hope you get
weekend.
fine, Håkan. Bye.
Get well soon, Håkan. Bye bye.